Welcome back, folks. This is RGR. He's Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. We're going to talk game plan because it's Red Friday. I hope that you guys are ready for this. Chiefs get a chance to get that bitterness out and off of their souls. I think today they could probably all use that. Let's get into it. This is RGR Football. It's about time. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing well. We got lots of stuff we cranked out this week, the film reviews, all the fun videos, and now we finally get to, like you said, get that bad taste out of our mouths, hopefully against a division rival. It doesn't get much better than that, honestly, against the up-and-coming team in the AFC West in the Los Angeles Chargers. So I'm excited about this game.
Oh, I am too. I think it's funny too that the Chiefs are clearly the best team in this division. Nothing has changed there, folks. Don't get nervous. But I had the Chargers as the second best, and they're at the bottom of the AFC West standings.
It's like almost reversed. Like they have the Raiders at 2-0 and the Broncos at 2-0. You're just like,
yeah,
what's going on?
The schedule means something. I'm just going to say it that way, folks. This is Friday, and I know you guys got stuff to do, and I appreciate you checking out. Make sure you like, sub, and hit that bell. If you're not one of us already, if you are, welcome to Rogue Nation, and I'm glad that you're here. We are going to give you keys to this game. We're going to cut it down. We're not going to go 25 minutes like before. We're going to make this quick, easy, and a little dirty for you because dirty's where it's got to start, and that's on the defensive line. The number one thing this team has to do against Justin Herbert is get pressure. I don't care how you do it.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, though, isn't it?
It's going to be real tough, especially because it looks like Frank Clark has got another hamstring injury, and he might not be playing this week. And their first-round pick is really good, guys. I don't know if you know, you've watched. He was one of my favorite tackles coming out, and this offensive line is much better than it was last year. And the way that the Chiefs have been unable to generate a lot of pressure in the first two games of the season, they have to reverse course on that. And Jarran Reed says that he's PO'd about what's been going on and just the fact that they haven't been able to do their job. And I'm hoping that brings some added emphasis on this game, specifically in the interior. You got to get some guys, Trishawn Wharton, Colin Saunders, John Reed. You got to get in there and you got to make things dirty. So I'm hoping that they can take this and use it as motivation going forward. And hopefully Chris gets some of those intricacies figured out at defensive end. It allows him to play more loose because right now he's thinking too much.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, luckily he's not going to face that kind of running attack.
Mm-hmm.
Chris also, folks, from the Thursday injury report, and if you guys don't know, Thursday is like the last meaningful, heavier practice of the week. Friday will be a walkthrough for the most part. And so both Frank Clark and Chris Jones were limited on Thursday. Chris has got a wrist. That makes things hard for a guy that uses his hands pretty well. So let's hope that he gets back. But like you said, you got to make up for it with the other guys on that defensive front. And I hope that Jarran Reed is a lot like Wesley Snipes in that old movie with Woody Harrelson. He plays better pissed off. That's what I'm looking for. By the way, pissed off is not cussing, YouTube. Don't demonetize me here. That said, maybe they can get away with 4. I think, quite frankly, Spags has got to dial it up a little bit. This can't be a game where you don't get pressure. He had to go to it with that twist where Sorensen actually got home on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's what I want to see, but I think they're going to have to get creative. I think we will see 5-man pressure, at least at points in key situations in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Nick Bolton be blitzed quite heavily, actually. I'd like to see him used a bit more down the line of scrimmage, get in there where he's best, really going north and south. So this has to be a game where the linebackers kind of play. I mean, in the game against Baltimore, you had some ups and downs from a rookie, and he had the most splash plays out of all the linebackers, which is not good for the rest of the guys there. So
luckily, Willie Gay is able to at least run around in shirt and not even a helmet, but that's progress, folks. He's not eligible to return until next week anyway. But let's hope that Willie Gay is back to normal, because I think that does give a lift in the middle of the defense. It doesn't have to be astronomical, but I think it will help. And so that brings me back to the offensive side. I think Joey Bosa didn't practice on Thursday either.
Interesting.
I'm guessing that he still plays because we've seen this happen before. But the question about the matchup, about where's Joey, that's going to be what I'm looking for. Because I think I thought they would do this week one and that the Browns would choose to stack their pass rushers over Lucas Niang. But again, I think Lucas Niang has the feet to move with Bosa. I don't think he can win in the hand battle. That's going to be a challenge.
for sure.
But on the other side, I think Bosa probably outmaneuvers Orlando, and Orlando's got to use his length and his punch to counteract that. So, like, where do you think the better matchup is that the Chiefs should be concerned about?
I think it's going to be with that speed. You can get to the quarterback better, especially. I think Mahomes is going to be more cognizant of the stepping into the pocket because of that Chargers game last year where he was getting hit at a ridiculous pace. He was just getting too deep. I think he's going to be very cognizant of that. But again, like you pointed out with Orlando Brown, maybe he oversets a bit too much in this game to try to compensate for that speed. And that's where Joey can really, really hurt quarterback, as he can use that outside inside motion, get you underneath, and then he can get holding calls. He can do a lot of damage with attacking the less athletic guy in Orlando Brown. So I'm excited to see that matchup. But for you, like for me, I think some of the interior is going to be interesting. I like Jerry Tillery. I think they've got guys on the inside that can, and Wosu's a better pass rusher than people really give him credit for. So what do you think the interior is going to be able to do against this defensive front that the Chargers are putting out, especially with Derwin James probably likely to put some pressure in there too?
I'll tell you what I don't want. I don't want like 12 reps of outside zone. I'll tell you that.
Ain't lying.
Can we get some hats on hats, please? Can we just I don't care if it's pee-wee football, grab the guy in front of you and run forward.
Go.
I'm to that point because I think Clyde runs best north and south where he doesn't have to cut back against the grain as much. I think Daryl runs north and south better than he does. I mean, he can get to the edge. It's not his thing. He's better outside in the pass game than he is the run game. So I want to see them just attack the strength and go at them, because I think that that's the best way to get the backs going and protect Patrick from having to get in the situations where if he were to throw one interception, that could cost you the game.
I definitely agree. We've talked a little bit about Clyde and the inside zone, these counters, some of the pin pull stuff that they're doing. All of this stuff is better for him. I wonder if Andy is trying to get some other things on tape so they can cut back with some inside
Saving
zone
it for later.
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, because if we're being honest, when you drafted Clyde, it wasn't because of his outside zone prowess. He did best in his pin pull and all of those inside maneuvers at LSU. Like, this is what he did.
He was drafted for his arrow route. Let's be truthful about it. Run the damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Like, just get him going a little bit, get some passes his way. It doesn't matter how you do it. You got to get him some confidence. So I think they're going to do that. But at the end of the day, this will come down to Patrick Mahomes' arm, which it usually does. And for me, the younger and the less experienced guys now are taking some steps forward. You got Byron Pringle with that huge touchdown last week. He's getting some confidence. I think that hopefully we see him with more snaps this week. 11 is not ideal for one of your, let's be honest, most explosive players with the ball in his hands. So him and McCole Hardman are going to have to play going to have to do some things against this defense that is going to try and take away Travis Kelce with Derwin James, and I would imagine that they're going to bracket Tyreek Hill. So who do you think steps up at wide receiver for this team?
It feels like this could be a game where McCole might have a slight advantage just because of his ability to accelerate. Byron looked great. But that's a medium crosser where he's got the angle and he's got a little bit of room to get up ahead of steam. Whereas I think Hardman's acceleration can play into it better. But I agree with you. The key is going to be those guys, whoever those guys are, the three guys that aren't Tyreek Hill and aren't Travis Kelce, have to take advantage of the coverage they're going to see. I wonder if they're actually going to put James on Travis all day, because I don't think, as good as Derwin James is, I'm not trying to dilute his value. But even as good as he is, he's not going to stop Travis Kelce. Can he slow him down? Can he cut him in half? Can he, keep him to 60 or 70 yards? Possibly. But I don't know that that's the best strategy. I hope that they do that, because I think Travis will still get his yardage. He might score, but I think it will wear down what is the one force multiplier on that defense that I think can affect the rest of the secondary and really keep the three other guys from really contributing to the score.
Yeah, I think that Derwin James being everywhere on this defense, not just over Travis Kelce, helps them the most. He can add pressure to Mahomes. We saw him get that sack in his first game against Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's able to do a lot of things that guys his size can't do. He's not just a box safety. He can really cover. And I do think that he's going to give Travis some licks, but I think Travis has learned a thing or two since last time they matched up. So he's still as nimble, if not more so, than he was in 2018. And that's going to be interesting to watch, especially if they just say, guess what? Just go cover Travis, because that's what that's going to do. It's going to open up that possibly getting Clyde on the air route. It's going to open up guys like Byron Pringle. It's going to open everybody else up. So I'm excited to see that matchup, because I think Derwin James is one of the best young defensive players in the NFL. And when he's healthy, he's so diverse and he can attack in so many different ways. And this offensive line is going to get a nice test again against an in-division opponent. And they've been very good in pass protection. And you want to see that going forward. They're going to have a chance to take a step forward with that this week, get on that same level, and really give themselves, that head up in the division against their best, in my opinion, their best competition.
Yeah, that's fair. Last little note, not that he needs the push, but I think Tyrann Mathieu needs to be Roy Kent. He be here, be there, be everywhere.
Be everywhere.
That's where he got to be, right? And yeah. I think in the end, I think he can pick up where he left off. And if that does happen, I do like their chances. I think Herbert, his arm, I think is so incredible, but I don't think this offense is as highly tuned to his performance as maybe it was last year. And so I think there's going to be a couple of opportunities, maybe what they're trying to do. I expect that. How do you see this game coming out?
So I assume that this game's going to be close. The Chargers always play them close. And I have that feeling that that's just going to continuously be this struggle with the Chargers. And one day they'll get over that hump. They will. It's not going to be on Sunday. It's not going to be Sunday. The Chiefs are going to win. It's going to be, I think they're going to win 31-28. I think it's going to be very close.
Wow. You haven't even, very close to mine. I had 34-31 and that the Chiefs have to come score that last possession. Yeah. Unfortunately, I just don't know that against this caliber roster that you're going to get out to a big lead and be able to hold that.
Yeah,
so
I don't think so.
Folks, we want to know what you think. A, who's the X factor? And B, what do you think the score is? Hit those comments down below. If you would like to leave us a like, we would appreciate that. And make sure you sub and hit everything else. We've had a challenging week. You did a lot of great film work this week, and I've answered a lot of questions. Let's hope that we don't have to go through that again. So,
yeah, not so soon.
Enjoy the beginning of your weekend. We will be post-game at some point. It's always to be determined based on the pressers. So we will have that for you after the game that evening. I hope that you guys can enjoy that, and we're all in a better mood this week. So, Chiefs Kingdom, enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll talk to you then.